Hello and welcome back once again to Blades in the Dark. Before we go any further, I just want to take this moment to warn everyone that the following contains scenes of pandemics and its influence on society. And I realise now that this is something that we have all we've all experienced ourselves. So this is a content warning that the following will contain scenes of quarantines and virulent disease. So if that's something that you think might affect you, this is the point to find other videos, check out the playlists elsewhere on the channel, and we can do a summary of the events in this as well, so that even if you don't want to watch the episodes, you'll get an idea of what's going on, what has transpired, without having to potentially put something in to yourself that you might find distressing. So consider that your content warning. And without any further ado, we're going to jump straight back into the story. Previously, on Blades in the Dark in the last season, a cult emerged which saw in a new entity given form within the lightning barriers of Dusk. And while time has gone on and this entity's virulent influence has spread over the city, there are a few who act as something of a last line of defense. Namely, a former warden, disgraced, and now given a second chance at redemption. As Nathan, it's within the confines of Charter Hall Precinct, where you find yourself called in the early hours of the morning. The two uniformed officers escort you through and into a very, very small, slightly run down private room, generally used for the officers that have taken breaks, and offer you a seat at this very, very old, slightly ragged couch, and turn over a file towards you. Looking into it, you see a sketch of Caroline, along with a documentation and an arrest procedural record. Former associate, picked her up about an hour ago.
Now, I feel like this is a very pertinent question. Is this in the official capacity? Or is this slightly more unofficial? Because
the arrest, or
no,
or your visit,
my visit, because that would determine.
Very much an official visit.
So this,
there is, yeah.
So this would be Battered Crow rather than Nathan.
It would be, yes. At the moment in the Charter Hall precinct, and on the way here, the old quarter remains somewhat active. However, crossing in and from the south, noticing that the university quarter, save for a few bluecoats who monitor barricades, the district is nearly empty. So any kind of visitation, especially into certain regions within the districts, is heavily monitored. So much so that actually passing through those districts will require the use of papers and such like that have been given to you in such an official capacity.
So as I kind of look at these papers, I don't give a response outside of bring her.
Interview room 3. Do you want to watch in, or would you like to be present?
Present.
As the blue coat in question stands, picks up taking out of his pocket an enormous bunch of keys, leads the way through several further corridors, and opens up into a very, very dimly lit room, a single metal table at the center, bolted to the floor. And in a chair, in the half light, you see a silhouette. Caroline, or Apatura, would you like to give us a reminder of Caroline?
Yeah. Caroline is a tall, pale woman with long, unkempt black and white hair and very blue eyes, clear blue eyes, unblinking.
And stepping into the room, Wyverian, who does she see? Alongside a blue coat, obviously.
Yeah. Well, in such an official capacity, she would see a spirit warden, but with one very noticeable caveat. While you would expect to see a spirit warden in more finery, a nice set of clothes, as it were, this spirit warden seems to, well, have had a rough go of it. The coat is tattered, worn, and the mask is broken in several places. Lenses are cracked. It does look like there's been some repair done on the mask, but it is certainly not completely fixed at this time.
I'm going to say at this point, Caroline, do you want to give me a roll? It'd probably be a survey or a study.
Okay.
At the same time, Wyverian, if you would like to contest that, then you are.
Oh, okay.
Probably a.
This is definitely a deceive.
It is a deceive, yes.
I have
New skills.
Yes. At least this one's pretty straightforward. It makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have any dice in this, so unless I get.
You're looking at a crit roll, even though it only counts for a 6. Oh.
Very close, but.
Very, very close, but both in the same category. There is uncertainty, certainly for Caroline. However, something about the posture, the way this warden carries himself, there's a familiarity to it.
Well then, I see that times are hard for everybody, aren't they? I hope you're not my defense team. Look like the part.
Oh. The blue coat looks towards you, and just glancing down as well, you see that his the badge that identifies him as a part of the Charter Hall beat identifies him as Blackford. You got any questions? Or do I go straight to my magistrate's offer?
Go ahead.
Oh. The blue coat turns back towards you, Caroline. I've been optioned to give you a potential get out of this little quandary that you find yourself in. I'm assuming you know why you've been picked up.
I can think of several reasons. Right, yes.
Known associate of something unnatural. Something that we're all facing now. We're dealing with the consequences of. Now, rather unsurprisingly, Lord Governor, Empire at large, has not taken too kindly to this. However, you've got a guardian angel of some sorts with a magistrate of all people who, as long as my acquaintance here, indicating that the spirit warden allows it. You join this investigation. You offer your expertise, your insider knowledge, if you will, of what's going on. You help bring it down, and it counts towards time served. You serve a minimal sentence at the end, but it's better than the 30 years you'll get otherwise. That is, of course, if my friend here wants you on board.
Oren look at the spirit warden. Well, doesn't really change what I plan. I mean, if it's an official investigation, it might be more efficient. So, as long as this one doesn't act like the rest of his kind, I think it both of our interests to cooperate.
What do you think?
Let us speak alone for a moment. No eyes.
Very well. Give us a knock when you want to come out. This leaves the room and you hear the heavy bolts sliding into place, and there's a lockers
You're
there.
not with this one. Don't get me on with him.
As the door is locked behind him, you have space and privacy.
He begins to move around the table, sits across from you, reaches up, and starts to undo the mask. He slowly takes it off and sets it on the table. You see...
You have a face.
You see
I thought you lost as just like black me stuff.
Sorry, Wyverian, you see
an
Yes,
older
Robyn.
man, very clearly has been homeless for quite a number of years. Dark skin belying his, at least part of his Dagger Isle heritage. Unkept beard. Somewhat more washed than what you are used to seeing him as, but still quite unkempt. As Nathan sits in front of you. No, we all have faces. It's been a while, Caroline.
as your suspicions are confirmed.
I thought you've been kicked out. Are you back with them? Or are you just... Is it like a plan? Do you have something in mind?
I see the hint of excitement there. Not the same plan that you're hoping for. As I have been given a second opportunity, given extenuating circumstances as they are. I feel like maybe my combination of a practitioner of medicine and my former yet contemporary partners have deemed it feasible for me to, if I prove myself here, I will be allowed back in.
I see. So you're investigating on the plague.
Exactly. However, also because of my extenuating circumstances, I am given a few leeways. There are a few things of unfinished business that I need to take care of before rejoining the fold. Hence why, and he kind of gestures to the mask that's laying now on the table, revealing myself to you in this particular situation. So, I guess without too much, I have no problem with you being along, obviously. He kind of smirks. It's gonna be a bit different than when we were running cons together. Didn't Eugene follow you home?
Oh. Yeah, he did, but it's no longer with us.
I have a hard time believing anything could kill that goat.
Yeah, apparently crazy girl with an art degree was enough. Got used to someone break in my house and used him as paint to make creepy drawing. Just after all of this started, I think she was some sort of seer. Yeah. I mean, he was kind of mean, but no, I got attached.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we'll probably, if we haven't already picked up this seer, definitely probably on the list of people we will be visiting.
And we're going to leave you and cross to Sasha. What district do you call home?
District with
Of Char Hollow, Night Market, Crowsfoot. Oh,
hold on. Locked. Freezing. I love that.
sorry?
Sorry, my laptop is 6 towers.
6. Okay, cool. Despite the fairly early morning, you're awoken by a knocking at the door, which rings even louder splitting through the headache of the morning after the night before.
Who is it? So I get up.
As you make your way towards the door, there's a voice comes through of somebody you probably want to answer to.
Open the door.
And you see 3 patrol officers, a sergeant, and Commander Saltmeyer, District Commander of 6 Towers.
Pardon me. What brings you early?
Well, might I come in?
Of course.
Just the others. Wait here. As he steps inside. I thought you might want to know about this one a little more privately. Now, I heard about this a while back, and I haven't actually had a chance to speak to Cleland until last night. Meeting of commanders, various procedures that are now expected of us with everything that's been going on. And something of an opportunity, for you, at least. Now, I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting previously, but your name came highly recommended by Sergeant Orchard. Said that you were good police, at least, for something at least. Good detective. A minor for investigation. As he looks out of the window, sort of crossing over the room, and looks down to the empty street below. Is part of a really sorry. One moment. Really sorry about that. Looks to the empty street below. Is something to be a part of an investigation. Now, this isn't being run by Bluecoats. This is under an initiate warden who insists that what we're facing comes from something of a greater power. Something that, regardless of everything, must be stopped. Like I say, Sergeant Orchard recommended you. I spoke to Glavin last night, and he gave the go-ahead to speak to yourself, along with several others who will be hopefully join such an investigation. Now, the advantage is you work your own hours, you're not on beat anymore. Hopefully, your name comes across somebody and sees you in for a promotion, if that's what you're looking for.
And
You broke up there. Sorry.
and disadvantages? Question.
You're going right into the heart of the matter. No more standing around on barricades, making sure that nobody walks the streets after curfew. Putting yourself right into the firing line of whatever this might be up against.
Wow.
As he looks at you, reaches into his inner coat breast pocket, takes out a flask and says, hair of the dog. I've been there myself many a time. Think about it, and let Sergeant Ord know what you decide. I'll get the message. Sleep it off as he goes to leave. And as Sasha muses on this potential throughout the day, we're going to skip to slightly later. And inside a decidedly locked-in district, in the underground of a underground basement level of a Coleridge factory, a small manufacturing outpost with a foundry level above it. This is the lower levels. Why is this not playing? There we go. A length of rope laid out on the floor. I don't know why that isn't playing. Let's try that. Sorry about this, I haven't got any. There we go. As a very, very large, heavy-set figure, essentially the epitome of a circus strongman. Shiny cue ball head, waxed moustache, rather large, heavy-set physique, walks through and over a section of the floor which has been cleared. Large crowd gathers here despite the nature of this district being in complete shutdown. And this figure lets themselves into a small room at the back, most likely a former just side adjacent office. As Gaz sits there. Could you please describe your character?
So where is Gaz?
He is currently in a decidedly illegal fighting pit.
Okay. I just heard strongman, and for some reason my brain shut off. I was just imagining the big bulging muscles. I can't help it.
This is
So Gaz, first thing you notice about him, looking decidedly hungover. Secondly, he is there is no more charitable way to say this. He is an unfortunate looking man. He did not win the genetic lottery, and he looks like every negative trait that you could think of in a human face, he displays in some way. He has nose that's been broken way too many times, big blotchy skin, very chubby cheeks, even though he himself is quite well put together. Thinning hair, perfectly groomed. He takes a lot of effort in his appearance, but nature had other plans. And he's just sitting there enjoying the spectacle of it and just trying to get over whatever happened last night.
As some background context, the figure who's just walked in, one Clay Sparrow, a one-time fighter, now organizes said fights and does fairly well from it. As he steps inside, closes the door behind him. So what do you know about him? Who you're up against? Stead King Cleave.
What's his name?
King Cleave. Stead King Cleave. Or do they call him Basha?
Dead King Cleave. Okay. Is this one of the fixed ones? Or
No.
am I actually fighting him this time?
No, I want you to go out there and wipe the floor with him.
Okay. Do I want to... How much of a spectacle are we making this? Do you want it to look good, or do you want it to look bloody?
Oh, I would... It's a difficult one. He's a good fighter. So, if you're too slow, he'll get the first few punches in and then it's over. You want to land the first blows.
Okay. So is he managing this whole place? Like these fighting pits?
Not so much. He's got you amongst another
Okay.
roster of fighters, so he's one of the fight
alright.
managers rather than the actual.
I was trying to ask
organizer.
if he also like somewhat manages the other guy and he doesn't want me to
No.
win too badly.
No.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. That changes things.
Of course it does. As he opens up the door and the stage is yours.
Okay. You know, Gaz just takes off his coat, just wearing basically like a tank top, and just walks up into the fighting pit.
Okay. As you step in, it's just a circle of rope.
Oh, okay.
There is another figure who approaches you, who carries in one hand a very, very battered top hat, which is filled to bursting with betting slips. He pulls back onto his head and reaches into his pocket and takes out 2 coins, just pennies. He's standard match as he goes in. Penny in each hand. You drop a penny, you go limp for a count of 10, it's over.
Okay.
You got this. Gives you a slap on the shoulder. As he walks towards the Steadkin Cleave, who is a older but still very burly Skovlander, earning the nickname Badger, with 2 white streaks that run through what's black hair. As he does the same thing, as you see him take the coin in each hand, cracks his neck, as this figure walks towards the center. Welcome, friends, as he addresses the gathered crowd. So, tonight's main event, we have got from all the way from the Tar, the Skovland refugees, where only the strongest survive. I give you Stead King Cleave the Badger, and a local face, you all know him, Gaz the Basilisk. Turns back to you. He's points at both of you and says, "I don't want to see anything on the floor and keep it above the belt. Let's fight." And with that, you both step forward, begin circling each other. What would you like to do?
Whoa. It's a tough choice, but I think I'm going to punch him. Not sure. You might need to give me some time to think about it. So I think that's a skirmish roll?
Absolutely it is.
Okay. And you see as like Gaz it's finally in the ring for the first time. He seemed disinterested, but as the fight has started and the adrenaline's pumping, just the slightest little corner of a smirk hits his mouth. And it doesn't go well.
It's that moment of he swings and would you like to resist?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
going to use Battleborn.
Oh, great stuff! Yeah. As you so expend your as you remember, don't let him get the first punches in. As you instinctively arms go up, and you looked at. However, there's a clamoring from the other side of the room, and you see that some of those, especially in the back rows of the audience, begin to push back towards the exit as whistles begin to go out, and you hear dogs bark and growl, and a voice that emerges above the clamour and the fight, interrupted in that first few moments of everyone down your knees, hands on the back of your heads. As you glance back towards the door, as you just from where you came, and you just in time to see Sparrow kind of shrug, shuts the door.
Jeez. Gaz, for some reason, he's real petty. He waits for just like a split second to see the opposite fighter like at least drop a penny. Like he still wants to win, even though it is no longer important at all.
Okay, I'm gonna say yeah, give me another check. Go for it.
Would it, I guess, like, could it be command? He's just standing there, like, fist slowly lowered, but he's just glaring at the other fighter as, like, these, as all around him, police are coming in, bluecoats are, like, trying to break this up, but Gaz is just laser focused on him with, like, a startling intensity.
Okay, maybe that check. I'm gonna make him
Okay.
fortune roll. Yeah, it's as the two of you sort of square off against one another. Eventually, feel yourself kind of knee gets swept out from behind you, and you get forced down, as does he. And the two of you still just staring at each other, faces in the dusty floor of the basement, as you feel that arms being wrenched up behind your back, shackles, manacles being slapped on, and you are, along with several others, escorted out in bracelets, where multiple heavy iron-bodied carriages wait, barred windows, and people are just being thrown into the back of these. Along with yourself, and I'm going to make another. Unfortunately, the fight is fully broken up as you see Badger being pushed into a different carriage. As you are pushed into another, you sort of look around, various people, all walks of life, all of them sat there, somewhat accepting of an inevitability.
I look down and try to slip the pennies in my pocket to buy a drink later.
It's that very much that kind of low value coins, which you probably get a drink somewhere, most likely.
It's not going to be a good drink.
Oh no, this is bathtub finest. As the carriages roll away, and
as the fight ends, the smirk dies down again, and he's back to his wherever he was before, mentally before the adrenaline hit, and he just sighs. He's not even surprised. I don't think Clay runs a tight ship. This is probably the second or third time this has happened.
Oh, inevitably, yeah.
Yeah.
There's Clay will give up whoever to save himself.
Right.
He runs as Coleridge Precinct looms out of the fog, and you sit for what feels like hours in a room waiting. Where is Gaz originally from?
He is a Akarosi, and he grew up in Crowsfoot amongst all the gang tension there.
Eventually the door is opened, similar to the room that Caroline found herself in that very morning. As an officer walks in, custodian hat under one arm, and he looks at you as he's... Well, Colburn, you grew up. As you see one of the... Officer Iden looks at you. Someone you remember from your past.
Mm-hmm.
One of your father's friends, and obviously time has taken its toll somewhat, now probably pushing those later years as he sits down opposite you. Hey, sorry it took me a little while to get over. It's still got me up in crow's foot.
Ah. What was his name again?
Officer Iden.
Iden.
Yes, Everett Iden. So, Uncle Everett in your younger days. Before.
They still treating you badly over there, Iden?
Terribly. Still an officer, never made sergeant.
Oh,
But,
it's a shame.
well, that's all because of your old man. You know what he told me?
Yeah?
This was the first day. I mean, you was still sort of in the gates. Yay big. Too little to know what's going on. First day I ever put the coat on, you know. It was me and your old man. We went for lunch. This little place, nothing fancy. Fella used to serve soup. That was it. And first day he goes, we go over there. We get our food. My hand goes in my pocket. And the fellow who did it, old man, goes, oh no, don't worry about it. Blue eats for free. And your old man turns to me. So my hand comes back out of my pocket and says, you know that intensity that you get is, I see it in your eyes as well. He looks at me and goes, you know why he's doing that, don't you? He's scared you and your friends are going to come back and shut him down. He leans in real close and he says, promise me, though you'll never forget who your friends are. So here I am now, not forgetting who my friends are. Thing is, they want to string you up for what they can, you know. Aiding and abetting, you've got a Sparrow fella. He's got a rep sheet. Obviously, gathering, illegal fighting, all of that. There's maybe one way I can get out of it.
What's that?
Well, you're going to have to make a deal. All this is going on. There's more wardens around. They come in the precincts, they talk. And I try to avoid them where I can. They creepy lot, you know. But I hear what's said. There's something special they're looking at. They want people. People on the inside, and all they've got is the investigators, those that can follow the leads, pull the threads. And if this is going to be half of what I think it is, and trust me, I've been around, I know what these things are, I think they're going to need someone to crack a few skulls. And maybe Maybe you can take home a little bit of coin for it.
If they need some muscle, that's about all I have these days, so I think a deal could be worked out.
I'll see what I can do. I'll have to get the ear of someone. Oh, almighty grand overseers tend to ignore me, so, like I say, I remember who my friends are and they don't take so kindly, but sure I can get word to someone.
Aiden.
Yeah.
I don't know. My father being the bastard he was, I don't know how he managed to surround himself with so many good people. I do appreciate it.
I don't think we're good people. I think we're just good to each other.
That's all that matters.
You sit tight. I'll see what I can do. And as he leaves...
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by Livespark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter.
You've heard the Silent Song.
We all have the legend, the curses.
Some foolishness about a world as it was meant to be.
A city of ghosts.
An illusion that you can begin again.
How much would you give for silence?